What's up, you guys? We are going to the Dusty Butt again.
Yeah. Yep. Alright, we're gonna take your car too, by the way.
It's okay. And we're gonna go pick up the toys. So we are heading to a coffee shop to work to have a meeting because yesterday we stumbled upon some new knowledge about our product. And we kind of realized the problem that we're solving with it. We thought we were doing one thing, and then we talked to people in the industry, and they actually sort of clarified exactly what it was that we were solving. So now we are going to have a little meeting about that, about what we're going to do next.
Yeah. It's our go-to spot. Overlook everything.
And we just had our Friday morning meeting. The boss. Just kidding.
And the other boss.
Yeah. And so we actually wanted to talk to you guys about
identifying leaders in your company, and one of the most important qualities that these leaders can have.
Yeah, and how to kind of, like you said, identify them, and then how to sort of structure their goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So like, do you want me to kind of touch on it, what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
So in the early days, especially as a company, it's not as important, but because you start having hierarchies and you can have people that do specific things really well, and you kind of have people in place in order to structure tasks. But in the early days, when you're building your team, there's sort of an idea, which is like you just have a company objective.
Yeah.
And there's probably 50 different routes you could take in order to get there or see what works and what doesn't. And so you need somebody that you can say, here's the objective. And they have the ability to break that down into actionable tasks, figure out how to measure what's successful, what's working and not working. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't want somebody that you have to give every single detail of the objective to, because then at that point, they're not necessarily helping you build, you're just more so managing them and they're just performing actions. So
yeah, you want somebody that thinks differently or can bring new perspectives into your company or the product or idea or whatever it is. So when you give somebody, this is your objective, I want, for Josh, he gave me, I need to develop 10 relationships with audit firms.
Yep.
It's a very broad objective. How I get that is completely up to me. And so I then need to use my brain to come up with my creative approach and my solution to this objective.
Yep.
Instead of being like, I want you to email X amount a day, I want you to cold call, like whatever. Because when you do it in a more like objective approach, you're letting that person think for themselves and come up with different ideas that you wouldn't think of, which is what you need in the early days, because if you're the only one thinking for your company isn't going to grow, and it's not going to innovate, and
it's going to be limited too, because if everything has to pass through you and you're the one that has to create all of the execution dots, then you're going to limit the growth and ability of your company.
And you're going to be the bottleneck, and that sucks. You know, when you feel that you have no room to like flex your creative juices or, you know, come up with different strategies to do things, it kind of sucks. Yeah. You know, or it sucks for the people that like doing it. Some people like to be told what to do, but I think that's where the difference comes with
between a leader and somebody that's
an executor.
Needs leading.
Yeah. Which isn't bad. Like, I love executing when it comes to code.
Yeah.
For coding stuff, I'm an executor all day. I'm not an architect. I like being told what to do. I mean, I'll come up obviously with a solution, but Josh is more of the architect when it, you know, in programming sense. Yeah.
But in everything else, I think it's so important that, again, if you feel like you're having to handhold somebody and you kind of, there's nothing wrong with that, but then you have to ask yourself, are they the leader that you're trying to fill this position, or are they somebody that still needs a leader above them? That's the most important thing to ask yourself. And you said you're an executor with code, but I see that you're also somebody that really desires the freedom, the ability to create initiatives, create guides, create, just like get your hands dirty, if that makes sense, in figuring things out when it comes to, I think, really what your passion is gearing towards, which is more growth. Yeah. And so that's what's super important, why Brandy can get these high-level objectives and say, okay, Brandy, this is what we're trying to achieve. I'm not really sure how you're going to do it. We just need you to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's when somebody's like, okay, I'll figure it out, and you know they're going to figure it out. That is like a good feeling as the leaders in the company, as well as just personally, when you don't have to feel like you handled somebody, you know?
Well, and it's also nice to have a boss that isn't micromanaging me. I cannot stand, I think a lot of people can't stand being micromanaged, or, you know, feel that they're like, somebody's breathing down your neck to get these super like mundane, you know, tedious tasks done. It's great to have somebody, which is great to look for in a company and a boss, is to looking for somebody that believes in you as an individual and your capabilities to get something done. They don't care how you did it. They just care that it got done, which is great because that allows you to grow as an individual and grow, you know, and go up the ladder of whatever field you're going into.
Yeah, it allows you to stretch yourself, because a lot of times you'll see that the leaders you actually want in your company, they desire that freedom to figure things out. They desire that freedom to experiment. So like, not only is it critical for your company to have those type of people in the early days, it's also critical for those people to be attracted to your company in the early days. And so if you're micromanaging and you feel like you have to do that, one, you're gonna deter great talent and leaders, and two, you're gonna limit the growth and capability of your company. So like, it's a win-win when you find the right person and you give them that freedom. So for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of just what we had kind of like a meeting about, just to get the objectives for this next coming week / month type stuff. And we wanted to bring you guys into
the loop,
the loop, and what it looks like as we continue to grow this company and uncover new treasures under different rocks and stuff, and stumble upon different ways to manage our time and each other, essentially. You know, and how to work together. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So guys, that's like a tiny little snippet and like the million of things we're thinking about at any given time. And so we like to share it when it comes across, because that was something literally that we're like, oh hey, that's great to think about.
Exactly. So that's what I'm gonna spend the rest of our work session here trying to develop the in at 10 Auto Group. So I'll let you know how that goes, and I'll take you guys on that journey of what I found and how to, you know, talk to the right people. Like when you come up with a product, you have to figure out, you know, what problem is it solving and who do I need to talk to, and that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So as this vlog continues, hopefully I'll be able to bring some more insight and knowledge into that, so you guys can use it for when you're developing products for your companies. And same for him, because we're both doing it.